Right, so I got this gearbox here. Now to most people this would look like an R series. You're not wrong, but it's not an R series. This is actually based off an R series gearbox, and it's 6-speed. There's extra bulge here. So obviously the shift is completely different. Gearbox mount completely different. So far I've just got the bell housing off. I got this bit off. The input shaft is smaller, but besides that and all that shit, the bell housings from the R series bolt on. Obviously it looks like an R series. This came in the Great Wall actually. The V200, I pulled this out from the wreckers today, so I'm going to keep pulling it apart and see what's up with these. See if they look any weaker. These are the bits I've upgraded from mine, those three. So see if you can do those same upgrades to this, and then it could be a decent 6-speed for a J.Z or any other engine you'd normally use an R series for. So yeah, I'll keep stripping it down and I will come back. Right, so I got the shifter off, all the bolts are out. I've just taken the clips out of here, the snap rings, and straight away I've noticed bearing, it's not as tight as a fit as the R series, or the one that's in here anyway. And it's also, can't quite see it, it's a Chinese bearing. So this box was, the ute this came out of is a Chinese ute, which makes sense that it's got China bearings in it. So what some people are saying online is you put Toyota bearings in, or some nice bearings in it, and swap out the synchros, and you got a pretty stout box. And I would say on top of those you do the same three, thrust washer, bearing retainer plate, and I would assume the 4th gear synchro hub or shift hub. So I got these 2 clips off for these 2 bearings. So this front housing's ready to come off, which shouldn't take much because it's, these bearings aren't actually pressed in that hard. So yeah, I'll get this off and be back. Alright, so you can see the housing's off. These gears all look identical to an R series. Like, they don't look smaller or anything like that. Yet to pull this end off, but so far I'm not seeing any difference. So if you're curious about what I was talking about with this, it's this little tooth bit here. Oh, where are you? Up here. So it's that, and oh, it's inside there, sorry. So it sits in there. Just a decent upgrade for the R series. You can see it's not splined all the way around. You replace that with a fully splined one. Anyway, it's a different box, a different video. So yeah, so far I'm not seeing anything different. It's not too dirty. I mean, it's a little bit gummy, but I've definitely seen a lot worse. I'll continue. I'll try and get this side off and have a squiz at 6th, I guess. Yeah. Alright, so I got everything apart. Well, the case is off. So 5th and 6th. Doesn't look like much difference between the two. I don't know the gear ratios of this box. Can't find much about it online. So yeah. But in terms of the gears, they all look identical to the to an R series. So there's the bearing retainer plate that I've upgraded on mine. The thrust washer is between the plate and 1st gear, so it's in there, which is this bit. So that goes in there on the shaft, obviously. So I would assume throw some quality bearings at it, do the same upgrades, and I don't see why 500 horsepower reliably won't be an issue with this thing. I don't know if the shifter forks are interchangeable with the Toyota ones. They look like they are. I'm not going to pull mine out to compare side by side because it's in the car, so I'm not going to do that. Too much work. But yeah, looks fine. Some nice bearings, do the same upgrades, and yeah, it looks like it'll be a solid cheap 6-speed. Right, so because I've got a uni-clutch in mine, this is the fitment kit that came with it to fit the uni-clutch to a J.Z with an R series box. Well, an R series and a W series as well works the same. Turns out that this one of these that comes with this kit for the R series box and W already comes with the spline needed for this gearbox. So with the uni-clutch, you've already got what you need in the same fitment kit. So yeah, that's interesting. So that's the clutch sorted anyway. So if I do decide to run this gearbox, I can continue to use my current clutch, because these are easy to swap out from the uni clutches. So that's that side sorted. My bell housing will bolt straight on. I'll measure this. If it's 160mm, that's the right length. I just don't know about the output shaft, if that's the same as the R series. I do believe this is slightly longer. Obviously we've got an extra gear, so the rear section is longer, so my drive shaft won't, even if it is the same, my drive shaft will be too long, so I need a custom one for that. The shifter location should be the same as my current gearbox, so I am very tempted to throw some bearings at it, some quality bearings. The synchros all look pretty good, and then just do the same upgrades I've done with mine, the thrust washer, bearing plate, and the 3/4 shift hub inside here. Do those, and then yeah, this should hold 500-600 horsepower comfortably, same as my box, but a 6-speed. So that's very handy to know that I can use my clutch, my bell housing, my shifter location is all the same. So yeah, very interesting. Might strip it down and get this bearing retainer plate and compare it with the one I pulled out of my gearbox. Looks the same. I would assume it's bolt on, interchangeable, so I'll do that. I'll take a look at these shift forks and go from there, I guess. So I'm going to try and calculate the gear ratios. I can confirm that fourth gear is still a 1:1. So it's just assuming, I haven't done the rest, but I would assume first, second, third, fourth and fifth would be pretty much the same as the R series, and then 6 is just an extra on top of that, I would assume. So I'm going to try and calculate the rest of them, because doing a 1:1 is easy. I've got my cable tie to mark this. I'm going off that riding on that one, spin it once, this lands right back to where it was, so 1:1 there, pretty happy with that one. But the rest, yeah, I'm gonna try and calculate it. Right, so I've done some rough gear ratio calculations. So this is what I've come up with. So first is very short, second, third, and then fourth is the 1:1. Fifth is about the same, so pretty much fifth to first is the same as my box, and sixth is around 0.7. So these are very rough. It's not precise. I'm using cable tie to mark a position on here, and I'm using that number there to mark as their positioning on that shaft and just turn it. So those are very rough. I could go through and count all the teeth, but that's going to take way too long. And obviously some of these I can't count them properly because I can't see underneath and shit like that. So oddly enough, so we got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So on the R series, this is fifth. So the fifth is moved back to here, and then sixth is there. I don't think reverse is gonna. I might as well do the ratio of reverse. I don't know. Might as well. Doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, as for the gear ratios, it's pretty similar to mine. I'll jump on the net and write down mine next to this and see how they compare. Right, so I wrote down the ratios for my box that I've got. So first and second 4.3, and I got 4.25. Yeah, a bit of discrepancy there, so I would say first and second on both are the same. So 2.23 on my gearbox, 2.31 on that. So it's not until third is different. So third on the 6-speed is a little bit shorter than third in mine. Fourth is still the 1-to-1. Fifth is about the same, and then sixth I calculated about 0.7 to 1. So currently my gearbox, even with the 0.836 fifth, at 100 k's I'm already at 2600 RPM, which is fairly low. So I'd say with the 0.7 I'll be down in 2300 RPM in sixth. So that's just like a highway cruise, I would assume. But all in all, I'd say this is a solid box, good option. If you can find one, if you can get one for relatively cheap. This one was very cheap. If I was to sell it as is, I'd make 4 times what I paid for it. I got it very cheap, very lucky. Still on the fence whether I'm going to use it or not in my car. As I mentioned, the bell housing and the clutch should be fine to swap over from my box. It's just the drive shaft that would need redoing, and the gearbox mount is different, so still pretty easy, I guess. Shifter is different. I didn't grab the stick because they charge extra for that. I could go back and get it, which I probably should, but this is the shifter off my gearbox, well, that came on mine. I've gone with a different shifter setup, and that's the one off this box. So they're different. This one sits further back. The shifter I've got currently that sits way back here. I'll show you quickly in the car actually. So it's a JZX 110 shifter, so you can see it sits further back from the last bolts. I had to cut a big hole to fit the other shifter setup before I got this. That one's quite nice how it is now. So all in all, pretty impressed. Final verdict, pretty repeated, but get good bearings and do the same 3 upgrades that I've done, and then this is going to be a solid box. Pretty happy with the score, actually, very happy. I guess put a comment down if you want me to run it. I'll start accumulating the bits that I need. I'll have to go back and grab that shifter. But everything else, like the drive shaft, I'll need to make sure that's, if it's the same, I'll have to take mine in and get it changed, or get another one made up, so that if this doesn't work out, I can just swap the one that's in it back in without needing to redo anything. Yeah, put a comment down if you want me to use it, if you want to see it behind a O.J.Z at like 400 wheel, might make a bit more than that, we'll see. Yeah, comment, like, and we'll see what happens, I guess. But for now, we'll pretty much leave it as is. I might clean it up and just put the cases back so that shit doesn't fall on it, or you know, a rat doesn't shit somewhere in here. But yeah, pretty happy. Just real quick at the end of the video, just thought I'd put what spline this is. So this is the one that fit. So if it'll focus, 24 tooth by 25.4. I can't remember what the Toyota one is. It's like 29 by something. So I just thought I'd put that on. You can also swap the whole input shaft and fourth gear, all that. You can swap all that with the Toyota one, with r154. So you get the longer, although the Toyota input shaft, the Toyota teeth on it and whatnot, if you want. But again, because I've got uni clutch, I can just use this. I'll just swap that out of my clutch and then that's all good. Yeah, just thought I'd chuck that in.